Holiday weekend. Cubs back home after a 2-4 road trip, won 2 of 3 in San Francisco, and the Pirates really scuffling. We'll talk more about them later. They've dropped 5 in a row. Well, September call-up time. It is the 2nd of the month, and the Cubs are going to make a few moves, but they're going to wait on most of them. Today, Brian LaHare called up the 2011 Pacific Coast League Most Valuable Player, leading the minor leagues with an Iowa franchise record 38 home runs and leading the league in RBIs, extra base hits, total bases, slugging, and OPS. Not in the lineup today, available off the bench, and a big topic for Mike Quade, who met the media earlier this morning.
So
new
player here.
Yeah, and what a year. And man, I mean, I just, it's funny when I look at the numbers. It's just, you know, he's been doing this a while, and he's always put up good numbers at AAA. But I think this was a banner year for him, and he's also a guy that's been at this level. So it's not, you know, I think of Snides last year when we called him up, and you know, after years in the minor leagues, first time to get a chance. Not quite the same with Bry, but anyway, great to have him, and see how we can mix him in here.
You've got an established first baseman on there who's
Yeah.
had a good year. How do you work?
Yeah, you know, and I talked to Los. I mean, we'll pick a game here and there for Bry there. He's played some outfield. We asked him to do a little bit of that. So, you know, maybe we give Sorry a day. Maybe, you know, I mean, we'll mix and match, because with him and Colvin and the rest of it, you know, it's not something where he's going to play every day, but he'll get some opportunities. And then obviously we'll use him off the bench.
You had your meeting today. Can you let us know who else?
You know, right now I think we're where we're at. Physically, we're looking at people that are, you know, trying to finish up the season healthy, and we talked about some folks, but I think we're going to wait till the season ends in Iowa to make further decisions, and also if there's opportunity at the AA level, they're in the playoffs. Like to see those kids finish, and that's a more prolonged thing. Heck, I don't think the playoffs in AA start till the 8th, so that could be longer. So we'll wait on that first a little bit.
Are you playing LaHare in the outfield at all?
We've asked him to do that. You know, he was basically their first baseman all year, and to get him an opportunity, to get him some at bats, that's not out of the question either.
We've asked you this before, but I guess more apropos now. When some of these kids do get here, playing them, you know, guys who have earned to finish out the year,
right,
your players, and then player development on a team that's not going to win. Very difficult, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it is, and you figure out each day how you can best do it. You talk to your veterans. You pick a day. You know, last year, you know, I know we had a couple of kids' days where we played them all. You know, I remember a day in Florida, and they beat the daylights out of them, and so we'll look for those opportunities, but it'll be mixing and matching, and you know, I still think the experience here, whatever it is valuable to all of them, however they're used, and but we'll try and keep them involved the best we can.
Valuable but meaningful? Is it meaningful?
Oh, both. I think so, both.
Even in September, where they say it's the toughest, really not the time to evaluate what.
I would argue that any experience at this level, whether it's coming off the bench, whether it's getting starts, whatever the case might be, has got to help you down the road, because who knows what your role is going to be down the road. And Campy's a great example, because I've had long talks with him about coming off the bench and doing what he does, and giving him starts here and there. But to me, he's learning an incredible, valuable trade that at least will get him started in his career, and then we'll see, you know, if he's the regular guy down the road. But you know, I mean, it's nice for Brian to be rewarded, to go back to him, but he's interested in more than a reward for sure, and so we'll see how he does.
That's Mike Quade talking about Brian LaHare. This is his second major league stint, 45 games with the Seattle Mariners back in 2008. Now Gail Fisher, who had a chance to talk with the Cubs third base coach, and a guy who's worked very closely with all-star shortstop Starlin Castro. That's former Cubs shortstop Ivan DeJesus. Gail?
All right, thanks, Len. Just catching up with third base coach Ivan DeJesus. Let's talk first a little bit about the intricacies of being the third base coach. This position, a lot of people give this position criticism. You got to know when to send a runner, when to hold them, and fans are always looking at you to decide when to make the good call.
Yeah, you know, that's the good about the position. You know, you got to be on top of the game all the time. You know, it's going to happen. You know, you're going to make decision that's going to be good. Sometimes it's not going to be so good, but you got to try. You got to make a challenge. You got to make the right decision every single time. And you know, again, you know, you got to try to do your best every single time out there.
Your manager, Mike Quanti, was the third base coach. Is it kind of nice to have someone who's been in that position? You guys can bounce ideas off each other.
Yes, I think I asked a lot of questions about him. We did a lot of work in spring training. And, a lot of time, you depend on the situation in the game, you got to challenge some of the players, too, that's to get a good job, and try the best, I think it's a lot of time the decisions make, at second base, not when you send the runner in. And he helped me a lot. I think it's all his biases was good, and I think you learn from.
And obviously, you have to know your personnel. How much fun is it when a Tony Campana is on the base path and you know what kind of speed he has? It's
fun when you see him run, and that's what you expect. That's what you expect when you're out there. And I think it's that not because he's fast, it's making your job a little easy. But again, you got to do the best, challenge players, and then let them do the job.
You work closely with Starlin Castro. Not only are you his interpreter, but as a former shortstop, I'm sure you're mentoring him a little bit. How much fun is it to be a part of the development of this kid?
He's a talent. He's a special kid, and he's learning. And I think there's a lot of good things for him to learn. And I think this year for him it was a special. Not only is offensively, but defensively. He wanted to be the best shortstop he could be. He's still making, a rookie mistake, like I said, but that's going to come with experience, with maturing. The more he plays, the better he's going to be. He better play his position better. He knows the situation on the game. And I think he could adjust faster because he knows what to do. And he always asks questions. We talk all the time. We talk before, after, during the game. And I think is that if he had that attitude, I think he's going to improve a little thing in the defense in the same way he's doing at the offense.
Your son is also in the game with the Dodger organization. Is it harder to give advice to your son? Does he listen to you?
I think it's we've been through this, when he was real young, and I think it's right now he's in that position that every advice that I give it to him, he's like he take it for himself. And that's good, because he want to do it. That's his goal, and he's working for. He's having a good season this year in AAA, and I think is every time that he do something wrong, he asks me, what you think about this, what you think about that, and I give him my advice. But again, he need to do out there, do his best shot he could do, improve, and learn from every mistake he makes.
All right, Ivan DeJesus, a coach and mentor. Thanks for joining us, Len. Let's send it back up to you.
All right, Gail, thanks very much. The Cubs just 3 games behind the Pirates for 4th place in the NL Central. Final time this 3-game series, these two clubs will meet, and we'll preview the pitching matchup. You saw the opening day starter getting ready. Pirates and Cubs coming up. brought up yesterday as the rosters expanded. He's filling in today for Jeff Karstens, who was skipped because of a sore shoulder. And you see Ryan Dempster month to month. He's been fairly consistent this year, with the exception being a very rough month of April. So Burris for the Pirates, Dempster for the Cubs. We'll have Cubs baseball to kick off this holiday weekend coming up as they host their NL Central rivals, the Pirates, coming up on CSN.
Shape it. Lead it. So much more to you than you know.
Ready for this?
Let's find out.
The real enemy is out there.
From Wrigley Field on a scorching hot Friday afternoon, young Cub fans getting their American Girl doll apparel on their way into the ballpark. We're set for Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. The Pirates and Cubs open up a Labor Day weekend of baseball. It's come down to a battle for fourth. The Cubs come in 3 games behind the Pirates. And hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. The Cubs coming off their first winning month of the season. Hopefully they can finish strong here in the month of September.
It's not hard to figure why they won so much in the month of August, Len. They're 24-10 when they homer more than twice in a ball game, and they found the home run ball in the month of August. 39 long ones. That stands to reason that they're going to win 16 games in the month if they hit the ball deep like that.
Got off to a great start in August, and they swept the Pirates in a 4-game series in Pittsburgh, and the Pirates really on a downturn since.
You know, it actually started the series before, Len. They also got swept by the best team in the National League, the Phillies. They got swept by the Cubs. They got swept by the Padres, and that really started their downfall.
So, final 3 games in this season series starting today as Ryan Dempster will go for the Cubs. Left-hander Brian Burris gets his first start as a major leaguer in 2011 with the Pirates. Now down to the field for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise. Kindly remove your caps and join Wayne Messmer, accompanied by Gary Pressey at the Lowry organ as they honor America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Wayne Messmer getting us set for Cubs baseball today. Ryan Dempster and the Cubs battle the Pirates coming up next.
To you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. 75 years being right here in Illinois means no one's closer to your wellness. Experience wellness everywhere. Subway. Every day at Subway, choose from many delicious regular foot-long subs for just $5. Subway. Eat fresh. Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today or go to shophonda.com and find great values on a new Honda. AT&T U-Verse. Find out more of what's possible at att.com. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
And welcome back to a steamy Wrigley Field. Very hot temperatures, wind blowing out, although it has shifted just a little bit. It was blowing straight out to center during batting practice. But now it looks like we're getting a little bit of a northeast breeze here. And the ever-changing conditions here on the north side of Chicago.
Yeah, stay tuned. Very important for the defensive players to check those flags, not only between innings, but between pitches on a day like this. It could turn around in a hurry.
And the Cubs sweeping the Pirates in Pittsburgh to start the month of August. They're 7-6 against the Pirates this season, but just 2-4 here at Wrigley Field. Now the Pirates Southwest starting lineup that will face Ryan Dempster today. He's 2-1 against this team here in 2011. Speed at the top with left fielder Alex Presley leading off. Former Cub farmhand Josh Harrison's at third. Neil Walker at second. The All-Star Andrew McCutcheon is going to clean up. Garrett Jones at first. Xavier Paul in right. Former Cub Ronnie Cedeno at short. And the battery today, Michael McHenry and Brian Burris.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Degree. Once again, very appropriate on a day like this. Soriano, Bird, and Johnson across the outfield against the left-handed starter for the Pirates. Ramirez and Castro on the left side of the infield. Barney and Pena on the right side. Giovanni Soto doing the catching today for our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher, right-hander Ryan Dempster. See his numbers on the season. Looking for a bounce-back outing today. Didn't have good command of anything against the Milwaukee Brewers his last time out. Went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits and 5 runs, including a couple of home runs, which is surprising for Ryan. That sinker-slider-splitter combination, usually with downward movement, very tough to elevate the ball against him, but the Brewers were able to take him deep twice.
DJ Rayburn will get the plate today. Ron Kulpa at first, Jim Wolf at second, and the crew chief is Darryl Cousins over third. Cubs were off yesterday. 2 more off days, 25 games to go. The Pirates were not off. They're, of course, in the middle of a road trip. They had to head home to play a makeup game against the Dodgers, and they lost that game. They've dropped 5 in a row.
We'll talk about a tough break in the schedule. The makeup game in Pittsburgh against the Dodgers yesterday. They were supposed to have an off day here in Chicago, and you hate to lose that.
Yep. Left-handed hitting, Alex Presley will lead it off. Pirates are banged up. Derek Lee and Ryan Ludwig, couple of midseason acquisitions, are on the disabled list. Here we go as Presley shows bunt, takes ball 1. .93 degrees with a northwest wind at 7 miles an hour, so technically a crosswind. That's a strike, 2-1. Now the 2-1 pitch. High fastball, and gets a swing and a miss. Not sure if the Pirates realized how hot it was going to be today, but they're wearing their alternate black jerseys, which can hold that heat.
Oh, yeah. Black jerseys, black helmets. Some new names in this Pirates lineup since we saw them last, including the leadoff hitter here, Alex Presley. You mentioned former Cub farmhand Josh Harrison, who's having a nice first year in the major leagues, playing third base today, and of course Ronnie Cedeno at shortstop.
A high pop fly, shallow center field, and it's Starlin Castro for the first out. And that'll bring up Josh Harrison, who's playing third base.
Trying to find it in their media notes, Len. Usually in their daily media notes, a team will list their record with their various uniforms or various uniform combinations. I thought maybe the Pirates had played well in the black tops, but can't confirm that.
Harrison sent from the Cubs to the Pirates at the trade deadline 2 years ago in a deal that involved John Grabo and Tom Gorzolani. Grabo's still here. Gorzolani has moved on. He's with the Nationals. Harrison, a 6th round pick of the Cubs in 2008.
I talked to Josh before the ball game and asked him, do you realize how many fans you have scattered around the Cubs minor league system? And he said, oh yeah. He says, I got text messages from everybody I played with in the Cubs system. They're all rooting hard for Josh Harrison, but obviously rooting harder for the Cubs to win today.
Full count, 3-2 with switch hitting Neil Walker on deck. Walker with a lot of success against Ryan Dempster. 7 for 12 with a home run. On 2 bounces, backhanded by Castro, and the throw's going to be late. And now Harrison's going to take second. Nobody covering the bag. That's a heads-up base running maneuver by Josh Harrison.
We saw a similar play. I believe it was in the series against Atlanta when that ball is hit on the hole on the left side. Castro's got to go try to make the play, and Darwin Barney is hustling over into foul territory just in case there's an overthrow. Unfortunately, nobody there to man second base. And that's just alert play by Josh Harrison. He saw it right away and then determined that he could outrun Ryan Dempster to the bag at second and gets himself into scoring position for Neil Walker.
Whose job is it to cover second?
Well, there's really no assignment as to who's supposed to cover second. If you have an alert pitcher, he can get out there. The center fielder has nothing else to do on that play. Sometimes they will charge in from center just to make sure that bag is covered.
Harrison gets an infield double.
How about that? And those are the kind of alert plays that will endear yourself to your manager. Make no mistake about it, these Pirates are trying to win ball games here at the end of the season, but they're also playing for a spot on this roster next year.
Almost hit Walker. 1 ball, 1 strike. See those gaudy numbers for Walker against Ryan Dempster, who's already making his 4th start against the Pirates. That includes an opening day 6-3 loss here at Wrigley. But he's won his last 2. May 29th here, and then July 9th in Pittsburgh.
I mean, it would behoove Ryan Dempster to give Josh Harrison a couple looks out there at second base. That time he had a walking lead and might have been able to just break onto third base and make it. He had to look back there a couple, 3 times. Quick pitch once, just try to break up the rhythm.
2-2. Another guy who kills the Cubs is on deck. Andrew McCutchen. .811 is his career mark against the Pirates. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Dempster, 2 down.
going to be a key guy to control in this 3-game series. Walker has had good success against the Cubs regardless of the starting pitcher. And if you can retire Walker, that will give you the option throughout this series of either pitching around or walking Andrew McCutchen intentionally if the situation calls for it.
McCutchen, an all-star. He replaced the injured Ryan Braun on the NL roster. He's reached in 28 straight games against the Cubs. 3 days ago, he became the 8th Pirate to have a 20-20 campaign. 20 homers, 20 steals. Well, the Pirates' fall has been precipitous.
Ooh, good word.
Their struggles combined with Milwaukee's success. Even though the Brewers just got swept by the Cardinals, they still have a pretty commanding lead in the division. And the other thing is the Pirates can't beat Milwaukee. They're 2-10 this season. 18.5 out. 5.5 weeks ago, they were in first place. Cardinals just swept the Brewers in Milwaukee. Big day yesterday for Albert Pujols with a couple of home runs. And that hit him. McCutchen hit by a pitch. And Clint Hurdle and one of their trainers coming out to check on him. And they're hoping it hit muscle and not bone.
Yeah, always a little more concerning when it's in that hand and wrist area. Fastball tailing up and in. McCutchen just kind of turned into it. Looked like he took it off the back of his left hand, maybe the left wrist area. I always love that the trainer comes out after you've been hit by a 90-mile-an-hour pitch on the back of your hand where there's very little padding, and they start poking around. Does this hurt? Does this hurt? Yeah, it all hurts. Stop it.
You may recall Derek Lee in that series in early August got hit by Carlos Marmol. It was a slider, and he ended up fracturing his left wrist. He's still on the disabled list.
It looked like he actually dropped his left arm and hand down to protect his rib cage, and probably would have been better served to just take it in the ribs rather than off the wrist.
Eric took BP today and hit a couple out on the Waveland.
Hey fans, follow all of today's stats and info in real time with Cubs In Game Live only at csnchicago.com, brought to you by Honda.
So McCutchen stays in, and now Garrett Jones, Harvey, Illinois native. 0 for his last 11 as he bats with 2 on and 2 down here in the first.
2 for 20 lifetime against Ryan Dempster. One of the 2 hits, however, was a home run. Big time power. When he makes solid contact out in front of the plate, he can hit it as far as anybody.
Way out front, and he pulled it foul. Got the high strike, 1-2. Left-handed hitting Xavier Paul is on deck. And he chased a split and couldn't get it. 2 strikeouts in the inning. As the Pirates strand a couple, the Cubs are coming up. Lineup brought to you by Southwest. Castro, Johnson, Ramirez at the top. You've got Pena with good numbers against his left-hander. Soriano and Bird. Giovanni Soto will catch and hit 7th. Darwin Barney at second, batting 8th with the pitcher Ryan Dempster 9th.
Well, there's already been a change in the Pirates lineup. Andrew McCutchen, after getting plunked in that first inning, is coming out of the game. You'll see Jose Tabata in left field. Alex Presley moves over to center. Xavier Paul out in right field. Harrison and Cedeno on the left side of the infield. Walker and Jones on the right side. Doing the catching today, Michael McHenry for left-hander Brian Burris. Making his first start at the major league level this year. Last time out for him was against Columbus in a AAA ball game. Received a no decision. Went 5 2/3. Gave up 9 hits and 3 runs in that game. His overall AAA numbers this year: 5-9 with an ERA of 4.66. Features a tailing fastball, a curveball, a slider, and a changeup.
That's his first major league pitch of the 2011 season. '55th career start, 102nd career game. Way inside, 1-1. Castro, fly ball, left center, and it's Tabata to make the catch. He's battling a sore left wrist, but you're in the game early because of the McCutchen injury. As Tabata's kind of getting stretched out.
His wrist is apparently not as sore as Andrew McCutchen's. Looked like a happy man as he heads down that tunnel in the long walk up to the visitors' clubhouse here at Wrigley Field.
Well, Reed Johnson getting the start in right. 60 August at bats. He hit 367. Fourth month he's hit over 300 this season. And limited duty. Off the plate inside. Burris is 30, 6'2", 185 pounds. Little floater, and Cedeno will make a nice running grab. Kind of like an NFL wide receiver might on a post route.
Over the shoulder catch, taking away a base hit from Reed Johnson. Looked like it was going to make it safely out to the grass there in left center field, but that wind that we talked about that was blowing straight out during batting practice has turned around somewhat, blowing from the left field corner to the right field corner. May have helped knock that down a little bit.
And with 2 outs, former Pirate Aramis Ramirez digs in. A quiet trip. He hit just 192. And during the trip, his 16-game hitting streak ended. He hit 508 during the streak. Presley's going to have plenty of room in front of the 368 marker, and Burris works a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. We're scoreless after 1 from Wrigley. Comcast Sportsnet. Tribune writers, sports stars, and celebrities join host David Kaplan to discuss the day's hottest sports topics and set the table for the night ahead. Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Captain Morgan, tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Sir, do you know you have a cub on your head? I think he does.
I'm pretty sure he does.
I think he's okay with that.
Hat. The bear has a helmet.
Xavier Paul playing right, and he pops it up foul, and this one will get back out of play. Former Dodger. '19th start in right. He has started at all 3 outfield positions. Big swing and a miss, 0-2. Talked about it off the top. The Cubs with their first winning month of the year, 16-13 in August. And they have not had a losing record in September since 2007. So hopefully another strong finish in the offing. It's right through the wickets of Starlin Castro, and Paul hustling on his way to second. He'll stand there on a two-base error by Castro.
Like a little bit of a tough hop right at the very end, but to compound it, Castro kind of played it into a tough hop. His hands in a good position down low, just did not come up quickly enough with the glove, allowing it to get right through the wickets into left field.
Ronnie Cedeno takes a strike.
Well, then we've talked about this an awful lot over the past 3 weeks or a month of the season. As you get a look at the fielding percentage in the National League, a couple of teams near the bottom. It's hard to find reasons to play this time of year, and by that I mean motivation. Why am I going out there to the field? Am I just going out there to try to collect some numbers and get my batting average up there so that I can go to arbitration at the end of the season and have a better case? Am I trying to earn a job on the team next year? But when you're facing the team that's only 3 games ahead of you in the standings, even if it is for 4th place, it's a goal. It's something you should try to shoot for. Try to fire up your troops, put a little extra emphasis on this 3-game series against the Pirates. And if you're successful doing that, then you pick off the next team in front of you in the standings. Now, granted, it's not a lot of consolation this time of year, but it's something to play for.
Something tangible.
Yep.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, got him. Cedeno had been a tough out for Dempster. 357 against him, but he strikes him out here.
Boy, and he had a perfect pitch to move to the right side of the field to advance Paul onto third base, and just kind of a half-hearted defensive swing right through the pitch for strike 3.
Now the catcher hitting 8th, Michael McHenry. 2 home runs. The first one was the first of his career, a game winner against the Cubs on July 8th in Pittsburgh.
In limited playing time, McHenry has shown that he is a very aggressive swinger also. He's only walked 9 times all season. He wants to put that ball in play, especially with the runner in scoring position and the pitcher due up next.
He's homered off a couple of tough pitchers, Carlos Marmol and Tommy Hanson. Runner goes, throw to third late. Paul steals the bag, and a 2-2 count on McHenry. You got the pitcher on deck. That could change things here a little bit.
That's definitely going to change the Cubs defensively, because now with the runner at third base and less than 2 outs in the inning, they're going to be forced to bring their infield in with Michael McHenry at the plate. We talked about it when Josh Harrison was on at second base. This Pirates team is trying to do some things. They're trying to open some eyes of their manager Clint Hurdle and the coaching staff and earn a spot on this roster next year. Don't take anything for granted.
Infield in, 3-2.
Any manager appreciates heads-up play. A lot of times you can't plan what happens on the field. You just have to react to what you see. Xavier Paul took his lead at second base. He saw where Starlin Castro was playing behind him out of his peripheral vision. He saw where Darwin Barney was and got himself a good walking lead and was able to steal the base easily. How it seems to happen, partner, but 93 degrees and come down with a summer cold. I know you're battling over there today.
Funny how it happens.
Hang with them.
Usually once a year. I got through the first 5 months okay. There's another foul. Still 3-2. Dempster really taking his time. I think the heat has a lot to do with it.
A lot of foul balls once again. That have been a thorn in Dempster's side, especially here in the second half of the season. A lot of borderline pitches that guys are just getting a piece of, like that. Just enough to stay alive and run that pitch count up, which is a tough thing on a day like this. Pitch of the at bat. Our Corona Extra pitch tracks, you'll see he's just been pounding away at that up and away area of the strike zone. McHenry just getting a piece each time, staying alive.
Ready now for another 3-2 swing, and a miss. He got him. Like to miss a bat with a runner at third and one out, and he did.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, if there is such a thing as a productive strikeout, that was it for Michael McHenry. He really made Ryan Dempster work through, I believe, 11 pitches in that sequence just to get the strikeout.
Everybody back with Burris at the plate and 2 outs. Mentioned he's filling in today for right-hander Jeff Karstens. Having his start skipped due to a sore shoulder. They have Kevin Correa and Paul Mahalam, arguably their top 2 starters on the DL. Correa's got a strained oblique. Mahalam with a strained shoulder.
These Pirates pitchers are either at or have already exceeded their career high in innings pitched for a season. They're so good in the first half. I mean, 1 through 5, their starters were giving them a chance to win almost every night. Before the injury to setup man Evan Meek, they had Meek and Hanrahan to close games. They were in pretty good shape in the first half of the season, but as the air has started to leave the balloon here in the second half, it's been a struggle.
Pirates got Paul to third without a hit, an error, and a stolen base. But Dempster here strike away from getting out of it. And he does. Strikes out 3 in a row, 5 early on. And we're still scoreless.
With CSN's Cubs mobile alerts. Text CSN Cubs to 29653 for breaking Cubs news, scores, insider reports, and more. Text CSN Cubs to 29653 right now. It wasn't easy, and he had to really labor to do it, but Ryan Dempster able to pitch around that leadoff error and stolen base, striking out Cedeno, McHenry, and Burris. We head to the bottom half of the second, where it'll be the cleanup hitter Carlos Pena, followed by Alfonso Soriano, Marlon Byrd, and many others.
And we'll probably see Brian LaHair in a pinch hitting spot today, and Mike Quaddy will try to find some spot starts for him at first base, which is his main position, corner outfield spots as well. What a year he had at Iowa. Most valuable player not only of the I-Cubs but the entire Pacific Coast League. Franchise record 38 home runs, leading all of minor league baseball this season. Here's Pena, who was on base 7 times in that series in San Francisco, and that was only 2 games he did not play on Wednesday. 1 strike from Burris. Cubs with a season low 2 hits as they were shut out 4-0. Madison Bumgarner and Sergio Romo combined on that 2-hitter.
Well, the Cubs don't need me to defend them, but that's about as good as I've seen Madison Bumgarner. He was fantastic. Man, he didn't make a mistake above the kneecaps all afternoon.
1-2 to Pena. Now Josh Harrison, the third baseman, is going to head over to the other side of second base. They were guarding against a possible bunt. They're going to leave Cedeno near his normal position, and Pena shows bunt with 2 strikes. He takes it for ball 2, 2-2.
You know, not as big of a deal with Josh Harrison, a young man that has played all the infield positions. He played a lot of second base in the minor leagues. He's played some shortstop, mostly at third base for the Pirates. So not that big of a deal to flip him over to the right side of the infield in this pole shift.
Send out big congratulations to Brian and Michelle Garza. Brian's the Cubs Assistant Director of Ticket Sales. They welcome the newest addition to their family and the Cubs family as well. Ava Catherine Garza, born last night at 8:20, and she was 8 pounds and 20 inches. 8:20. A high deep drive to center, and it will go for Pena, his 25th leading the team. Been a struggle this year against lefties, but he's had Brian Burris' number. That's his 3rd career homer against the lefty.
HP home run replay out over the plate where Pena could extend his arms, got it high in the air, and even though that wind now is blowing pretty much straight in from center field, had no effect on that blast.
Soriano hits a ground ball to second. Neil Walker with time, and that's out number 1. Good battle for the team lead as Ramirez, Pena, and Soriano all came in with 24 homers. Now Carlos Pena has the lead, and he didn't homer at all the first month.
Spend the rest of your Labor Day weekend at Wrigley Field as the Cubs take on these Pirates. Great seats are still available, including bleachers. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
There's Marlon Byrd with a 7-game hitting streak. Strike 1. There will be a few more September call-ups that will come here in a couple different waves. Cubs are going to let the Iowa Cubs finish their season. So early next week, you might see a few more guys come up, and then possibly later on, Double-A Tennessee, as that ball was rocketed over the Cubs dugout. Hope everybody's all right. After Tennessee finishes the Southern League playoffs, we'll see some more call-ups as well, potentially.
And that's a difference, Len, when you're involved in a pennant race at this time of year as opposed to when you're out of the contention for your division. When you're in a pennant race, you'll call up anybody that might help you win a ball game, even if it's a pinch runner, a situational left-handed pitcher, a bat off the bench. Whatever the case may be, you're looking for any kind of help that might give you an edge, win a ball game, and get you to the postseason. When you're out of contention, you let the guys finish what they started in the minor leagues, let them have a full season, especially those teams in the minor league playoffs, and then you bring them up to the major league roster.
Well, a fan got hit, and we hope he's all right by that Marlon Byrd liner. In fact, Marlon is still standing at the top step, making sure that everybody's all right. One and one on Giovanni Soto. Now 1-2.
Players are not immune. They know they can see where the foul balls go when they leave the field of play, and sometimes it's hard to regain your focus and get back in that batter's box and do what you have to do when you know that a fan has been struck by that foul ball. Just as a word of caution for future games, if you come out here to Wrigley or any ballpark for that matter, and somebody does happen to get hit by a foul ball, remember that the game is still going on. Somebody has to keep an eye on the field, watch the ball, watch the bats.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. With a swing and a big drive by Carlos Pena. His 25th of the year gives the Cubs an early 1-0 advantage.
anniversary. Check out the hot Labor Day deals at your local Best Buy store.
Top of the order here for the Pirates against Ryan Dempster in the third inning. And it is weird to have such a hot day with a wind coming in from the northwest, and I'd say more like northeast at the moment.
Ryan Dempster looking for a low pitch inning right here. Really had to labor in the first 2 innings of this ball game. He could use about a 6 or a 7 pitch inning if the Pirates will cooperate.
Presley bunts it foul. Recently on the disabled list with a left thumb contusion. He was leading the AAA International League with a .333 batting average, but won't have enough at bats to qualify for the batting title. I don't think he minds because that means he's here.
Mm-hmm.
2-1 the count. Dempster struck out 5 Pirates first time through. And that's deep to right, and it's going to be off the bottom of the basket. Presley will easily make third. You rarely see a ball hit the bottom of the basket, but that was a line shot.
Now, and you can see after this line drive hits the wall in right field why Presley led 2 different minor leagues in triples throughout the course of his career. Right at the base of the basket. It's a hard carom back over the head of Reed Johnson, and Presley really turned on the Jets. Long striding between second and third, an easy leadoff triple.
Now Harrison, who had an infield double, that's right. Heads up base running play after an infield hit. Second base was vacant, so he just kept running. Corner men in, they're back up the middle. One and one.
Josh Harrison has a bit of a physical resemblance to Eric Young. EY, stocky body, packs a lot of power, runs well.
Doesn't really project offensively to be an everyday third baseman. Only 17 career minor league home runs in 4 seasons. But as you mentioned, he can play second. Play a little bit in the outfield as well, and he drills that one into right center to tie the game. Josh Harrison, and he slipped around first. He was thinking about that big turn, ends up with an RBI single, and we're tied at 1 apiece.
Nice piece of defensive hitting right there. That's not a bad pitch by Dempster down at the bottom of the zone on the outer third of the plate. Just a better piece of hitting that time by Josh Harrison to get the barrel on it. Barely gets it over the leaping Darwin Barney into right center field for the Pirates' first run of the game. And when I first saw it, I thought he may have done it intentionally. We've seen the faster base runners do that when they take an aggressive turn at first and want to stop quickly. They go into a slide, but I think that time Harrison just stumbled over the bag a little bit.
Yeah, he kind of hit the wrong corner of the base. By the way, good news. The fan who was hit by that Marlon Byrd foul ball was up and on his feet under his own power. I think is headed for some repairs, but that's good to see. Of a number on one hop. Throw goes to second.
Whoa.
In time.
Whoa.
Very close at second. The Cubs get the call. The second base umpire is Jim Wolf. Well, actually, it's not Jim Wolf. It's Darryl Cousins. Wolf listed at second, but he's over at third with Cousins at second.
Kind of a slow developing play. Man, the Cubs got a major break right there. Josh Harrison was safe by a ton at second base.
Tabata breaks his bat as he bounces to Darwin Barney. 2 outs, runner at second. That's Walker.
Monday is Chicago Blackhawks Day right here at Wrigley Field. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Blackhawks pocket schedule for the 2011-2012 season, and lucky seat winners will be awarded great prizes throughout the game. Don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Reds at 1:20. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Fastball strike on Garrett Jones. One of the 38,000 amateur officials here at Wrigley. Although he might be a pro, we don't know. Might be just getting off work. Jones to deep right near the well, and it's going to be in the ivy. Johnson puts his hands up. It'll be a double. Walker will be allowed to score, and the Pirates have the lead on the Garrett Jones 2-base hit. It's their third extra base hit here early on.
Well, so much for the easy low pitch inning for Ryan Dempster. Well, Garrett Jones went down and golfed that ball. That was well below the knees. Drives it into the ivy out there near the well area of right field and disappears.
Snapped an 0 for 13 for Jones. And the Pirates lead 2-1. Here's Paul. Fly ball. Left field, Alfonso Soriano with one hand on it, and that's the inning. 2 runs on 3 hits as the Pirates grab the early advantage.
ready to play. The Wrigley Field experience allows for your groups to host an event at Wrigley Field on non-game days. Event packages include batting practice, softball games, and much more. For details, including 2012 dates and pricing, please call 773-404-4161 or visit Cubs.com/premier.
Cubs trail now 2-1 as Darwin Barney bats for the first time against Brian Burris. Strike one. Apparently they can't bear to watch. At the end of the bat and up in the air out toward Tabata in left. With one out, it's Ryan Dempster. For his first hit since July 15th against the Florida Marlins. 0 for 12 since.
Well, Ryan's done a nice job, as usual, putting down sacrifice bunts this year, but he's had an uncharacteristically bad offensive season by his standards. We didn't expect him to hit 350 or anything like that, but coming into play today, only 3 hits on the season.
Just missed the outside corner. Burris is from Oregon. Went to Mount Hood Community College in Oregon. Was a 31st round pick of the Giants in 2000. Third major league team. Been with the Orioles and Blue Jays and now the Pirates. And a base hit for Dempster. So his first hit since mid-July.
And a nice swing by Demps. 2-strike approach, just trying to put the bat on the ball, and it's a rope back up the middle of the field. Second time through the order here for the Cubs offensively. You look at Brian Burris, and we haven't seen a lot of Brian Burris, but he looks eminently hittable. Fastball sits in the high 80s with a little bit of tailing movement. He's thrown some good breaking balls from time to time. But when he's in that zone, it looks like they should be getting real good swings at him this second, third time through the lineup.
Mentioned it's his first big league action this year. Last year, an ERA just under 5 with the Pirates. 20 games, including 13 starts.
I'm going to send out as we get a look at his career numbers here at Wrigley Field. 1 start, 3 games. Lofty ERA just under 12.5. About to say, Lynn, happy birthday wishes to Dodie DeJager, celebrating her 90th birthday here at the ballpark today.
Right. Her age just about matching the temperature. That glances off the glove of Harrison. That's a base hit for the league leader, Starlin Castro. Assuming he plays pretty much every day the rest of the season, he should be well on his way to 200 hits. That's number 174 on the season.
Well, and if he gets hot like we've seen him do from time to time and rack up 3 or 4 4-hit games in a row, he could blow right by that in his homestand. Well, what a magnificent season it's been. You'd just like to see Starlin really finish strong. Put the cherry on the sundae of what has been individually a really, really good season.
Back-to-back one-out singles by the 9-1 hitters. We had a great time yesterday in our 6th, believe it or not, 6th annual Swinging Away with Len and Bob sweepstakes out at Bowes Creek in Elgin. Ron and Justin Lauria, the winners, big Cub fans, and we had a great time yesterday morning. I want to thank everybody from Comcast Sportsnet, including Tom Harriet, Brad West, Chicago District Golf Association, Andrew Luthane, Mike Lehman from Bowes Creek, and the Laurias in particular.
Absolutely. Good sports to watch us play golf. Oh, man.
Ron's a lefty. He had some pretty nice drives yesterday.
Yes, he did. I'd like to personally apologize to those homeowners who found golf balls on their patio this morning. Sorry.
No broken glass from what we could tell, though.
No. And a special hello to Hollywood out there at Bowes Creek. The starter yesterday morning. Big Cubs fan as well. I think he realized he could kid me about my golf game. That's foul, because he did.
Johnson strikes out, 2 away. Third punch out for Burris. Bring up Ramirez.
The 27th annual Cubs convention will take place at the Hilton Chicago on January 13th, 14th, and 15th, 2012. Rooms are available now by calling the Hilton Chicago at 312-922-4400 and asking for the Cubs convention rate. Weekend passes will go on sale in early November. For more information, as always, visit Cubs.com.
Ramirez flied to center his first time up. Popped foul and back to the seats. What a month of August Ramirez had.
You mentioned he's cooled off a little bit lately, which is to be expected. Nobody could maintain the pace that Aramis Ramirez was on there for the better part of the month of August. And teams have really started to pitch him a lot more carefully, especially that first pitch.
You mentioned Tennessee at AA will be in the playoffs. So will Daytona in the Florida State League after winning the first half. The team that still has a shot, the Boise Hawks. They still need some things to happen. Just 2 games to play in the Northwest League, but they still have an outside shot at making the postseason. goes flying, is busted right at the handle.
Tell you, Lynn, you'd love to see Ramirez hit something big right here with Ryan Dempster out there at second base. He's been on his feet running the bases for a long time here in this inning. And we saw him laboring and taking a lot of time between pitches on the mound. The last thing in the world you want to see right here is a base hit through the infield, and Ryan Dempster would have to turn on the Jets and try to score from second base. So let's go ahead and hit one out of here, Rami. Make it easy.
Towering fly ball, deep left center. It's going to be Presley, and again the wind having shifted keeps that ball in play. Cubs strand a couple, and they trail 2-1 after 3. Fourth meal from Taco Bell, open 1 a.m. or later. And the Menards grounds crew closing down that infield.
It's super slow. Yeah, that's the only time they move slowly. Well, this field has really held up to the conditions. A lot of rain and cold weather early in this season. We had the Paul McCartney concert. We had stifling heat and humidity through the middle part of the season, and throughout it all, this ballpark has played absolutely perfectly.
Bottom 3 now in the Pirates order. We do have news, by the way, on the Carlos Zambrano grievance process. Cubs today released a statement. He's not going to pitch for the remainder of this season as Cedeno swings and misses. Cubs will continue to pay Zambrano his salary after the 30-day suspension's up. It'll run through Sunday, September 11th, and he will have insufficient preparation time in order to come back and pitch over the final 2 weeks. Baseball, the Players Union, and the Cubs will process the union's grievance during the offseason. And it says, since the grievance remains unresolved, the Cubs will not comment further at this time. 2-2 on Cedeno.
I'm not sure anybody really knows where Carlos Zambrano is right now. We assume he went back to Venezuela, but could still be here in the Chicago area. I don't think anybody really knows. Some of his teammates have reached out to him. Some of the members of the organization have reached out, but for public consumption, we don't know where he is.
Let's get our AT&T trivia question for today. For the last 50 seasons, how many times have the Cubs either been in first or within 4 of the top spot on September 1st? Not the case this season. Ideally, the answer would be 50.
Yeah.
That's a strike on McHenry. Long at bat his first time up with a runner at third and 1 out. Eventually he struck out. This time he pops up the second pitch of the at bat as Darwin Barney will get it.
Better communication that time between Darwin Barney and his shortstop Starlin Castro. You may remember there were some issues earlier this season on a similar pop-up in the middle of the diamond that dropped untouched. That time Barney calling for it all the way. He got his hands in the air to wave off Starlin Castro and make sure he knew that Darwin Barney was going to make the catch.
Any big holiday weekend plans?
Coming to the ballpark.
Other than being at the ballpark. A little grill out action, maybe?
Yeah. Could be the last weekend we get a chance to fire up the grill. Get over on the lakefront a little bit. Or an air-conditioned movie theater.
It's always a good alternative. Series will go through Sunday, and then the Reds come in for 3 starting with a Labor Day matinee on Monday.
Maybe I'm the eternal optimist, Len, but you know, we were talking about it earlier. I always look for reasons to come out here and look for an exciting ball game. The Reds are playing down in St. Louis. Johnson should get this one. If the Cardinals happen to put a whipping on the Reds this weekend, and the Cubs do the same to the Pirates, that makes that series against the Reds a lot more interesting.
Right now, 8 games
Question: in the last 50 seasons, how many times have the Cubs been in first or within 4 games of first on September 1st? It'd be 9 times. Cub fans certainly remember 1969, also 1970, 73, 84, 89, 01, 03, 07, 08.
I believe the Florida Marlins have ever been within 4 of first going into September, but won the wild card twice, and both years won the World Series.
It'll be Carlos Pena to lead it off for the Cubs here in the bottom of the 4th. He led off the bottom of the 2nd with a ringing home run just to the right of straightaway center field to get the Cubs on the board.
Made it 1-0, but the Pirates in the next half inning would answer back with 2. A breaking ball for a strike. How about that? Pena 5th on that home run list over the last 5 years. Ryan Howard has now hit 30 homers and knocked in 100 runs in 6 consecutive years. Phillies just engineered a 4-game sweep at Cincinnati to get to 41 over 500 for the first time since 1976. And it was the Phillies' first 4-game sweep at Cincinnati since 1916.
41 over 500. Wow, that is remarkable.
87 and 46. See Harrison now with 2 strikes. Shifts over to the other side of second. And Pena pulls it foul off the sidewall.
I mean, the Phillies have done it in every which way. Their road record is nearly as good as their home record. They've got a winning record against every division in baseball, including a 23-9 mark against the National League West. 9-6 in interleague play. They just win.
How about Cliff Lee? For the 2nd time this year, he went 5-0 in a month with an ERA of under a half a run. 5-0 in June with a 0.21. 5-0 in August with a 0.45. The 3-2 on the way is bounced foul. Pena will get another chance. We mentioned Cardinals swept the Brewers. They really had to, and they're still 7.5 out. And look at what Albert Pujols did. 2 homers yesterday, including a grand slam. Think Brewer fans are worried?
Maybe not quite yet, but
I think they are. They were worried last weekend. And they were up 9, 9.5, 10. I think it's their nature to be a little jittery this time of year.
With all due respect, it's one thing for the fans to get nervous. It's a completely different thing for the players to get nervous.
Another foul on a 3-2 pitch.
On our Corona extra pitch tracks, the 10th delivery from Burris. Another foul ball pulled down that right field line. I used to love these at bats, Len. You get to see everything that opposing pitcher has out there on the mound, because Burris has thrown just about everything in his bag trying to get Pena out in this at bat. Ideally, it pays off here immediately, but at worst, developing a pretty good book on this Pirates left-hander for future games.
And he draws the walk.
Hey fans, check out the new Cubs Kids Club presented by ComEd, the official kids club of the Chicago Cubs. Help your favorite young Cubs fan earn his or her pinstripes as a member of the Cubs Kid Club, and they'll receive kid-specific perks, experiences, and merchandise throughout the 2011 baseball season. Visit Cubs.com to sign up today.
Pena, that's his 6th walk over his last 3 games. That will land foul.
That leadoff homer in the second. As you mentioned, Carlos Pena has taken over the team lead in home runs. The gauntlet has been thrown down to Soriano and Aramis Ramirez to come back and tie it up.
McHenry looking into his own dugout before giving the sign. That foot slider missed. 2-2. Much of a lead by Pena. Popped in the left. Tabata in a few steps. That's out number 1.
Well, and we've seen this in the past, especially teams with young catchers, whether it be the pitching coach or the manager himself or a catching instructor over in that dugout, either calling individual pitches or calling for the pickoff attempts and pitch outs. But it's really slowing Brian Burris down out there on the mound. McHenry looking into the first base dugout forever to get the signs from whichever coach or manager is giving him over there. And then by the time he turns around and relays them to his pitcher, he's been standing around out there on the mound waiting a long time to deliver the next pitch. And it would help if McHenry looked over before everybody was ready. That time, Marlon Byrd was standing with one foot in the batter's box. His pitcher was up on the rubber ready to go, and only after Marlon stepped into the batter's box did he look over to that first base dugout. Pacing, 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 and rhythm. Boy, you want your pitcher to get that ball and feel like he's in some kind of a rhythm out there on the mound.
One and one to Bird. This one will just make the seats. They give Bird a little room out in the gap in right center. And he could not hold up. That's strike three. The guy we saw giving some of those signs is Jeff Bannister, the bench coach.
Okay, that's a good pitch when he keeps it down and off of the plate inside. So far today he's been pretty accurate with that back foot slider, keeping it out of the middle of the plate.
Kerry Wood tweeted before the game that Giovanni Soto's mask, the one that Ozzie Guillen kicked when he was arguing at home plate, is up for auction. WoodFamilyFoundation.org. Kerry said he had both guys sign the mask.
I guess that's a piece of crosstown classic history.
Yeah, I would agree with that. 6th annual Kerrywood Strike Zone Celebrity Bowling Tournament coming up as Soto turns on one base hit to left. It'll be Sunday, September 18th at 10 Pin Bowling Lounge. Again, WoodFamilyFoundation.org for the online auction. And the items not only include that catcher's mask we mentioned, but dinner at Kerry Wood's house and a chance to see Saturday Night Live. Ray Searage is a Pirates pitching coach. He's out to talk it over with Darwin Barney at the plate.
This could be one of those meetings that you have from time to time over the course of the season. Don't walk him, but don't give him anything good to hit. Ideally, I'm sure the Pirates would like to retire Darwin Barney and have Ryan Dempster leading off the next inning. But you have to do it very carefully. You don't want to give Darwin too much to hit in this situation with a runner in scoring position.
So 2 on, 2 down. And the Cubs trailing 2-1. Pitcher's strike on the outside corner. Fouled back to make it 1-2. Each team with 4 hits. Cubs have the only home run. That was Carlos Pena's 25th, leading off the bottom of the second. It has really turned around since this morning when it was blowing straight out. Right now blowing straight in from center. And Barney chased a bad one on a slider for strike 3. 5 Ks for Burris. Cubs leave a couple and are down 2-1 after 4.
$5-3 if you're the 500th texter. You could win 5 $5 footlong subs from Subway.
Gorgeous day in downtown Chicago. Nationals will welcome Steven Strasburg back into the rotation on Tuesday. This was his final rehab start at AA, and I think he's ready.
Yeah, it looks like he's ready.
Coming back from Tommy John surgery.
And I'm sure he will be monitored extremely closely the rest of the way, just to get some work in and get his feet back out on a big league mound.
He'll be monitored closely by the Nationals and by the media too.
You know that.
Third time through now for the Pirates as we start the 5th. Presley started in left, then moved to center after McCutchen had to exit the game due to an injury. Got hit on the left wrist. And a big leadoff triple in the 3rd. He scored the tying run. Other guys activated off the DL. Kevin Youkilis missed just the minimum 15 with a back injury. And he is in the lineup for the Red Sox tonight. That's going to roll right over the bag at third. The throw to first, not in time. Infield hit for Alex Presley to start the fifth.
Maybe with a little bit of side English, that ball might roll foul down that third baseline, but it hugged the grass all the way down and right over the bag at third. By the time Ramirez gets over there, makes the backhanded play and throw across the diamond, Presley with his speed is able to leg it out for an infield hit.
A.J. Przinsky's off the DL. Fractured left wrist. Bunted toward third, and Ramirez is going to let it roll and kicks foul. That was a good decision.
It was bunted hard enough. He would have been able to get the out at first base, no question, but you let that ball roll, and ideally it goes into foul territory. Now you keep the double play in order, a chance to keep that runner out of scoring position. Clint Hurdle's been known to turn it around after trying to sacrifice bunt on the first pitch to play hit and run at some point in this at bat after the attempted sacrifice. Had good speed on it first. It's out of the equation now as Dempster pumps strike two in there.
Foul tip, strike three. First time Harrison's been retired today. And Dempster struck out 5 guys over the first 2 innings, picks up his first since.
On a rare four-seam fastball. That's a pitch that Dempster used very effectively late in the first half of the season. Get some hitters off of that sinker, show them a high four-seam fastball, and that time Harrison could not lay off.
The Giants will try to cool off the red-hot Diamondbacks, who will go into that weekend series in San Francisco on a 9-game winning streak. And a 6-game lead over the second-place Giants. And the pitching matchup later tonight, lefty Joe Saunders versus right-hander Matt Cain.
The Pirates under Clint Hurdle, they like to run. They're 7th in the National League in stolen bases, even though they don't have what you would consider a burner. Andrew McCutchen leads the way with 20 stolen bases, but up and down their roster, they've got real good speed average, sometimes better than average speed. As I mentioned, 7th in stolen bases. However, they're next to the last in caught stealing, which means that sometimes they're running in situations where probably they shouldn't be.
Presley was going on that 1-1. As Walker hit it foul to make it 1-2.
Watch Comcast Sportsnet Cub replays on demand with Xfinity only from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Presley not running. That pitch is high. And it's 2-2. Another 1-2 matchup this weekend. Although the White Sox are tied with Cleveland for second in the AL Central. 5.5 games behind Detroit. John Danks and Justin Verlander tonight. An excellent mound matchup. Verlander looks for his 21st win. Presley runs. Walker pulls this ball foul.
Turn back the clock night in San Diego tonight as the Rockies will send Kevin Millwood to the mound against Aaron Harang. A couple of grizzled veterans going at it. Aaron Harang having a nice season, going in at 12-4 tonight.
Swing and a miss on a splitter.
Real good splitter that time. Starts it right at the bottom of the strike zone. Looks like it's going to be a low strike to a good low ball hitter. And Walker ends up out in front and over the top.
Presley still at first with 2 outs.
I believe he's going to be on the move here early in this at bat. With that in mind, Dempster snaps a throw over there to try to shorten up that lead a little bit. This is another pick attempt at first. A little bit closer, but Presley still getting back on his belly with ease.
Tabata recently signed a 6-year, $15 million extension with 3 extra club option years. 2017, 18, and 19. He's going to be a Pirate for a while. His idol is the late Roberto Clemente. As Tabata recently made his first career start in right and understood the significance of playing Clemente's position while wearing a Pirates uniform. And he lines to right where Reed Johnson makes a catch, and that ends the inning. Leadoff single, no runs. Halfway home on this Friday. It's the Pirates 2 and the Cubs 1. The wind has shifted. That has mitigated some of this stifling heat. And it's 2-1 Pirates.
And not only has it shifted, it's blowing harder now than it has at any point today. Pretty much straight in from center field, occasionally pushing toward the third baseline a little bit.
I would go so far as to say I think Aramis Ramirez might have hit a 3-run homer in the third inning had the wind been blowing out like it was during batting practice as opposed to straight in. Almost hit Dempster. Three and two.
Good at bat by Ryan here. We talk about it all the time when the pitcher goes up there to the plate. If you can just force that opposing pitcher to throw 5 or 6 or 7 pitches, that's been a good at bat. Make it a great at bat. Get a base hit.
Tabata will make the belt tie catch for the out. With September call-ups heading to the big leagues all around baseball, it's always a good time to talk about the rosters expanding to 40. Well, it seems like we see some conversation about whether the rules should ever be tweaked. I think you and I both agree that in an ideal world, each team starting a game would have the same amount of active players available off the bench. You play the first 5 months and the postseason under one set of rules, and you play September under a completely different set of rules. If you have a manager and a coaching staff who you think is better equipped strategically to deal with a 25-man roster, that advantage is taken away in September with pinch runners and third catchers and extra men in the bullpen. You know, you have healthy scratches in other sports, but not in baseball. So let's say you have a 31, 32-man roster, but right before, or actually when you go out to the umpire to give in your lineup card, if Brian LaHare is in the lineup, maybe Carlos Pena is not available, or vice versa. Requires your general manager to get involved and try to craft that roster for that day. You don't mess up any service time. The young kids get to come up, but I wonder if baseball would ever seriously consider doing that.
I think you brought up the biggest point of all to me is the fact that you play the entire regular season and the postseason under one set of rules, but for 1 month of the season, if you're an organization that has the wherewithal to bring up 40 guys, you have 40 players available every day. And I think it certainly can create a competitive imbalance if a team that maybe is trying to cut back on payroll a little bit doesn't want to start the clock on some of their minor league players, and they choose to only bring up a handful of guys. Well, obviously you're at a huge disadvantage going against a team that may have 35 or 38 or all 40 guys on their roster for the last month of the season.
Will hold up for Presley, and a 1-2-3 for Burris, who can now qualify for the win with a 2-1 lead after 5.
freeze cam. We go back to the third inning of today's ball game. Pirates had already scored 1 run. Josh Harrison, the runner at first base, was called out at second base on a blatant miscall by Darrell Cousins out there. Saved the Cubs at least 1 run. When later Garrett Jones came up and doubled, it was only 1 RBI rather than 2. It's our Coors Light freeze cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Freeze cam sounds and feels good on a day like this.
No kidding. I want that train to go right by the booth here.
And here is Jones. Couldn't hold up. Strike 1. So his RBI double the difference to this point. Hit well to center, but the wind again helping Marlon Byrd.
Not so sure he didn't hit that ball harder than Carlos Pena did, but that wind has really kicked up and knocked that ball down quickly. A smart veteran pitcher who's logged a lot of innings here at Wrigley Field. Ryan Dempster is well aware of what the conditions can do to fly balls and probably changes his plan of attack against this Pirates lineup.
Paul reached on an error in the second. A 2-base error by Starlin Castro. He would steal third, but ended up stranded there. Swing and a miss on a splitter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another split. That one was up and outside. 2-1. Yeah, if we were commissioner for a day, which will never happen, the 2 things that I would strive to change in baseball would be the September rosters and the team error. Comes to official scoring.
The first thing I'd do if I was commissioner for the day is raise the salary of the commissioner, and then I'd go to work on the game.
Right.
Hey fans, next time you want to catch a Cubs game, head to StubHub, where you'll find the seats you want and the freedom to choose where you want to sit. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago Cubs. For more information, visit Cubs.com/StubHub.
Dempster with his first walk of the afternoon. Paul, a definite threat to run. He has 16 steals.
And Ronnie Cedeno, a threat to hit into a double play. He's grounded into 10 this year, even though he still possesses pretty good speed.
Paul runs, and it was a hit and run as Cedeno hit it foul. Right-hander Jason Grilli is up in the bullpen with their bullpen coach Euclides Rojas looking on. Paul not running, and Cedeno fouls back.
Yep, she'll try to go right back to that spot again. If Cedeno's going to chase a high fastball on one pitch, try it again. See if he'll chase it up a little bit higher.
Stacey King would say, I want to go higher. Runner goes again. That's fouled off the mask of Soto, and we hope Stacey King says that a lot this year.
Yeah.
Not quite sure. Hopefully the NBA will be back up and running. It's always been Cedeno's weakness, that slider just off the outside corner, or in some cases well off the outside corner.
The lower the better. The lower you can throw it, the better. Bounce it in the dirt. We've seen him chase that many, many times.
Ramirez better hurry. Not going to get him, but a nice play to get Paul in a rundown. Paul trying to take that extra bag. That's a nice adjustment by Aramis Ramirez. 2 down in the inning.
Know your opposition and how aggressive they're likely to be on the bases. With Paul on the move on that pitch, he was very nearly to second base before Ramirez even got to that little ground ball off the bat of Ronnie Cedeno. That's just a smart play. Know what that base runner's liable to do, and we've seen it already in this game that the Pirates are going to be aggressive on the base paths, and Aramis Ramirez lured him in that time for the easy out at third.
Cedeno gets a single, and he goes 5-6 to get Paul, and a good play by Starlin Castro to get over to third base.
One of those live by the sword, die by the sword outs for the Pirates. Clint Hurdle wants his team to be aggressive on the bases, put pressure on the defense, but occasionally you're going to run into some easy outs when you are overly aggressive.
One to McHenry is a strike. Left-hander James Russell is up.
And you mentioned earlier McHenry with only 2 home runs on this season. It's not due to lack of trying. He takes a vicious swing up there. He wants to hit the ball in the air to left field whenever possible. Up to 2 strikes, and then he's a little more of a defensive hitter, but this is a guy, if he gets more playing time, narrows his strike zone down a little bit more, he will be a home run threat.
Cedeno goes on a 2-2 swing and a miss to end the inning. A walk, a single, no runs. Dempster with 8 strikeouts, but he's trailing 2-1.
nightly on GMC Sportsnet Central. Coming up tonight at 9:30, Lance Briggs asks for a trade. Reaction from the Cubs clubhouse after today's game. Join Sarah for GMC Sportsnet Central tonight at 9:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Bears. 3, 4, and 5. Starting with Aramis Ramirez. Ryan Burris still in there, but there is action. Grilly still throwing in the Pirates bullpen. Burris has allowed only 1 run. That was a Carlos Pena home run. Big cut by Ramirez in on the hands, filed it back. That one's in there, 2-2. And a nice piece of hitting as he golfs that one into left for a base hit.
Sometimes you just got to go down and dig it out. It was a pitch that looked like it was headed for the dirt. That back foot slider might have ended up hitting Ramirez in the back foot had he not gotten the barrel on it first and ripped it down the left field line for a base hit.
As you mentioned, if Pena hit the same ball he hit in the second, now I'm not so sure it would leave the yard. Sometimes it's not how hard you hit him, it's when you hit him. Ground ball, that's going to pull Walker toward the hole. Burris has to cover, and they got him. Nicely done. 4-1. It's a good cover by the pitcher as Jones kind of took himself out of the play going after the ground ball.
Actually, a couple of nice plays. Number one by Neil Walker to get to that ball, and number two for Burris to hustle over there and get to the bag. A lot of pitchers will quit when they see that ball go by the first baseman, but Burris did not. He continued on to the bag, and they're just ahead of a sliding Carlos Pena.
And with a tying run now in scoring position and some righties coming up, Clint Hurdle is going to make the change. It's a Honda call to the pen. Here comes Jason Grilly when we come back. And veteran right-hander Jason Grilly will face Alfonso Soriano. Double switch. Chase Darno came in for Ronnie Cedeno. He'll be inserted into the 9th spot in the order. Grilly gave up an unearned run, facing 5 batters in an inning of work yesterday against the Dodgers. Signed as a free agent back on July 21st. Tying run is at second with 1 out here in the 6th. And here we go. Slider misses outside.
See a lot of those from Jason Grilly. He's basically a sinker slider pitcher. He will mix in an occasional splitter, but he's going to go right after those righties with sliders off the outside corner and fastballs in on their hands.
Topper back to Grilly, who looks back the runner at second, Ramirez, and gets the out at first. Bird happy the lefty is out of the game. He struck out both times against Burris. He was hitting just over 230 against lefties. He's at 314 versus righties on the year. Long look by Grilly. Now set the belt. Quick look at Ramirez and the 1-1 pitch. Pulled foul on the ground. Esteban de Jesus, our pregame guest. Reminded of being a 9 or 10-year-old back in Michigan, listening on the radio. Ernie Harwell, Paul Carey call Tiger games. Ernie would always say, all of our pregame guests get a pair of floor shine shoes.
And glad to get them, too.
Oh, yeah. Still 2-2.
Way back in the day when I played, if you did a pregame show for the Philadelphia Phillies, you actually got power tools. Saws and drills and all kinds of plug-in mechanical devices. Never used any of them, but sure was a nice gift.
Power tools wouldn't work real well in the travel bag these days through security, would they?
Yeah, it might be.
Sir, what is this table saw doing in here? I was on the pregame show in Philly.
That would be a good gift for a pregame show today.
The best is when you do a pregame show in a city. It's your final day there for the year, and you get a gift certificate, and it expires in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you don't go back until 12 months later. That's when you make some clubhouse attendant very happy. Hey, listen, I can't use this. We're leaving town. Why don't you take your wife out to a nice dinner? It's funny, the memories you have as a child growing up listening to baseball on the radio. I used to listen to the Cleveland Indians games growing up in Ohio, and they used to have a contest, a pregame contest, and they would play the jingle music. It's Cleveland Indians baseball quiz time. And if you were able to answer the trivia question and you were the proper caller, you could win 2 tickets to an Indians game. Well, I had the yearbook and the media guide and all my scorecards, and man, I would hear that jingle. And this is way back in the day, kiddies, where you had rotary phones. You actually had to put your finger in the hole and dial the numbers, and I would start dialing the number to the radio station ever so slowly, and as soon as they would ask the question to a point where I knew I could find the answer, I'd go ahead and complete the phone call, and I won a bunch of tickets to Indians games that summer.
Yeah, you Googled it, right?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Another 2-2 popped up, shallow center, Walker, and that's it. So the Cubs leave a man stranded in the scoring position. It's 2-1 Pirates to the 7th. Action. Cubs with 1 run in this game. Carlos Pena with a leadoff homer in the 2nd inning. Pirates would come back with 2 in the 3rd. Ryan Dempster still in there as we start the 7th.
Judging from the frantic activity in that Cubs bullpen, I have to believe Demps is on a pretty short leash here in this inning. Should we see a Pirates base runner, you see the plug pulled rather quickly. You mentioned earlier in the season when they had their setup guy Evan Meek available along with their closer Joel Hanrahan, you did not want to approach those last couple innings of a game trailing the Pirates. Very tough duty to try to come back on those two. Meek on the disabled list. Hanrahan still closing games for the Pirates, but it wouldn't hurt anything to find a way to score a run, tie this thing up, maybe even take a lead before you can get into those late inning relievers for the Buccos.
Julianne Hough and Kenny Warmold, the stars of the new film Footloose, will conduct the stretch. Garneau fouls it off. 4th-round pick out of Pepperdine in 2008. Chris LaRue in the bullpen.
And Darno, a good guy to keep off the bases in limited playing time here at the major league level. He's a perfect 9 for 9 in stolen bases.
Recently came off the DL, had a chip fracture in his right pinky finger.
His 3 previous minor league seasons, he made the All-Star team all 3 years, 3 different levels for the Pirates.
And a foul tip, strike 3. 9 punch outs for Dempster.
My doubts that Dempster was going to pitch into the 7th inning today. After watching the first 2, the Pirates really made him work hard. Body language on the mound, he really slowed everything down, was taking a lot of time between pitches, but found his second wind here and has pitched effectively into the 7th.
One and one on Presley. That'll be his 3rd hit. And it could be 3. Around second he goes. A little stumble, but he's going to have enough to get into 3rd with his 2nd triple of the day. Well, he started to run on fumes around second and almost tripped up completely. And that'll be it for Ryan Dempster.
It's an impressive looking young hitter, especially with that speed. Not only did he stumble between 2nd and 3rd, he looked all the way back over his shoulder after he rounded second base before determining to try to get 3. Stumble right there, able to maintain his balance. 2nd triple of the game.
Nice hand for Dempster. On to call to the pen. Kerry Wood coming on to face Josh Harrison. Runner at 3rd, 1 out. Kerry Wood is on. He'd love a strikeout here, and he is a strikeout pitcher. Has been his whole career.
And we talked about the success that the Cubs had in the month of August. Kerry Wood, no small part of that. 12 appearances in the month of August. He struck out 20, walked only 1.
Infield in. As a cutter misses outside to Josh Harrison. Presley at third with 1 out. And on his hands and fought off. Foul.
Knowing Woody the way we do, I would assume that that four-seam fastball in on the hands of Josh Harrison will set up this cutter away. Let's see what he goes with right here. Just able to get a piece. Woody still has good heat on that four-seam fastball in the mid, occasionally into the upper 90s. When you throw one right in on the knuckles of a hitter and he's barely able to get a piece of it, subconsciously they tell themselves, I've got to be a little quicker on that next fastball, and then you throw the cutter away and get him out in front. The latter once again with a fastball.
Another 1-2. Shallow right. Presley ready to tag, and it's going to be caught by Barney at foul ground, and Presley has to hold up. Ideally, Reed Johnson makes that catch as he's looking and moving toward the plate, but it was Darwin Barney, and Presley didn't test him.
I think part of the reason was the fact that Darwin Barney had actually stopped. He was standing stationary as he reached out to make that play and then quickly spun around toward home plate. That'll freeze that runner at third base, get rid of the ball quickly, and they're able to hold the runner at third now with 2 outs in the inning.
Neil Walker now at the plate. Everybody back except for Ramirez, who's got his toes on the grass at third. Missed on a curveball outside. That's Sean Marshall in the bullpen. Could not hold up. Two and two. Season start at Kerry Wood was almost exclusively four-seamer and cutter, and would rarely drop in the curveball, but he has blended that pitch into his repertoire a lot here in the second half. 3-2 with Tabata on deck.
And most of the time when he drops that curveball in there, the hitter takes it. You just don't expect it from Kerry Wood. As you mentioned, he's been very judicious when he uses it, but when he does, it's been a very effective pitch for him.
3-2 on the way outside on the curve. First and third for Jose Tabata, and a base hit into right, and it's 3-1. That'll close the book on Ryan Dempster. He gave up 3 runs in 6 1/3 today.
Pretty, but it's effective for Taba to just poke that ball out there into right field to plate another Pirates run. Now Mike Quaddy's going to make a double switch. Looks like Marlon Byrd is coming out. Reed Johnson will move over to center. Tyler Colvin taking over in right field, and Sean Marshall making his way in from the pen.
It's a Honda call to the pen. 3-1 Pirates in the 7th. The pen, and lefty Sean Marshall will face left-handed hitting Garrett Jones. 3-1 Pittsburgh.
Sean tied for the 4th in the majors with his 29 holds. As you see Tyler Colvin take over in right field. Reed Johnson moves from right to center. Marlon Byrd out of the lineup.
Run in, and runners at first and second.
Garrett Jones 1 for 5 lifetime against lefty Sean Marshall. And one time he was 1 for 2 with a double, but Sean has struck him out their last 3 matchups.
The 0-2 is high on a fastball. 1-2. 35,153 in the ballpark today. Ground ball is picked up and dropped by Pena. Everybody's safe. Thought he had scooped it, but the ball was sitting in the dirt. It'll be an error on Pena. The inning's still alive. Bases loaded now.
That's too bad. Sean Marshall made a good pitch. Got Garrett Jones to chase a slider off the outside part of the plate. Hit that grounder right to the normally sure-handed Carlos Pena. Just laid an egg. Ball hit the bottom of his glove. Dropped out. He assumed it was in his glove. And by the time he realizes he does not have the baseball, it's too late to get the out.
Xavier Paul takes a strike. Two. AT&T UVerse Multiview. Swing and a miss on a fastball. Stretch time.
For Take Me Out to the Ball Game, the stars of Footloose, Julianne Hough and Kenny Wormald.
All right, come fast. Let us hear you.
A 1, a 2,
a 3.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I'm just scared I'll never get that run. It's root for the Cowboys. No win, it's a shame. But it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Hander Chris LaRue will make his 11th appearance, facing Giovanni Soto. And great to have with us and back Julianne Hough, and for the first time Kenny Wormald, the stars of Footloose, coming up. Julianne, great to have you back with us here.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
It's good to be here.
Kenny, your thoughts on your first experience conducting the stretch?
It's actually amazing. I apologize for my singing ability, or lack thereof, actually, but it was fun.
If you could have danced it, you would have been fine, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, there's a bird. All right.
LaRue working from the stretch with nobody on. The Pirates have a 3-1 lead here in the 7th. Now I've seen the original Footloose. A little update on the 1984 film, and don't want you to give away too many secrets, but there are any different little twists in the new version?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we definitely made our own film, but at the same time, definitely paid homage to the original and put our own twist on it. I think that the people that have seen it in the past will definitely not be disappointed, and the people that have never seen it now will get something great out of it. So, but I definitely would say that if you're having, judgment or thoughts, then go see it before you judge it.
2-2 on Giovanni Soto. It will be in theaters on October 14th. And you had a little preview here last night, right?
We did.
Yeah, it went extremely well. We were really pleased with how the audience reacted, and we had a little question and answer after, and they seemed to be very pleased. So
yeah,
we're happy to be in Chicago promoting our film. Get to check out a Cubs game. It's amazing.
And where did you shoot most of the movie?
In Georgia, all around Georgia. It was great. We had a good time. It was like summer camp last year, a bunch of brand new, fresh, up-and-coming young actors, and it was a great time.
I imagine you needed a lot of energy. It's probably very strenuous, all the dancing and singing and, all the things you do.
I mean, we don't sing in this version, but...
You definitely need a lot of energy.
That's a nice catch by McHenry.
Nice catch, even though that's not what we wanted. You should have dropped it, dude.
Yeah, we appreciate good effort even when it's from the other team. That was a nice catch. Darn it.
Here's Darwin Barney with one out. It's not an easy play back there near the backstop.
You go from the sun to the shade. You're getting close to the brick wall and the screen over there. The wind is blowing. That's a pretty nice play by McHenry.
Now, I know when you come here and sing the stretch, you get a little advice from the Cubs, but Julianne, you had done it before, so what was your advice for Kenny?
Well, I told him you can't really hear anything, so just have fun with it. Apparently we did, because we were on two different keys, and we just went with it, though.
It was fun, though.
It was.
Yeah, you just go with the flow.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of an iconic thing to come up here and do this, so it's fun every time.
1-1 to Darwin Barney.
Well, we always tell the guests it's more about attitude than singing ability.
Completely.
If you're excited about it, the fans will pick up on that, and it doesn't matter if you're on key or not.
Exactly. As a huge baseball fan, it's a pleasure to be up here yelling and hooting and hollering that wonderful song.
Absolutely.
Of course, we know Julianne from Dancing with the Stars. And Kenny, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're good friends with Justin Timberlake, correct?
Yeah,
Toured
well,
with him?
I kind of came up through the dance world, and I was on tour with Justin Timberlake as a dancer, and to get the opportunity to act in a film and represent Footloose was a very iconic memory for me as a kid watching the film. So it's amazing. Happy to be here.
Were you alive when the first one was out? Is the question.
I got to tell you, I was in the womb, but I arrived shortly after the film.
Gotcha.
But I've probably seen it 100 times growing up, VHS and whatnot.
Yeah,
and I wasn't even a thought yet, so.
Yeah, she came a little later.
But regardless, we were both huge fans, and we're really proud of, to be a part of such an iconic movie, and we feel like we did a great balance at. Paying it tribute, but also doing our own twist. So.
2-2 on Darwin Barney. Tyler Colvin on deck.
In the original, was it John Lithgow who was the bad guy?
Yes,
That's
I wouldn't
correct.
say he's a bad guy.
The Reverend.
He's the preacher.
Now Dennis Quaid plays that character.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah,
we were
he plays my
fortunate enough
dad.
to have an amazing actor. Hey-o! Nice catch.
Caught it.
There you go.
LaRue, the third Pirate pitcher. Brian Burris with 5 1/3. Jason Grilli got 2 outs, and now it's right-hander LaRue. Josh Harrison will pick it up and throw across to get Darwin Barney. Julianne Hupp and Kenny Wormald, thanks so much for stopping in, and
Absolutely.
good luck with the film that comes out in mid-October.
Thank you so
much.
much. It was a pleasure
October
being here.
14th. Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
2 down here in the inning. And it's Tyler Colvin for the first time. Foul back by Colvin. Now, Kenny's character falls in love with Julianne's character, and I was going to ask them about their chemistry, but thought that might be a little awkward.
Yeah,
well, they hang around each other, you know, promoting the movie, so I guess I could have asked, are you sick of one another by now? Two strikes to Colvin. Swing and a miss. LaRue with a 1-2-3 inning. That'll get us to the 8th, and the Pirates lead 3-1.
For the 8th inning, we're going to see the 4th pitcher of the game for the Cubs. Ryan Dempster started, followed by Kerry Wood, Sean Marshall, and now right-hander Jeff Samardzija on to work against the Buccos. He'll face the bottom third. We're going to have a pinch hitter for the pitcher spot, and then Michael McHenry and Chase Darno at the bottom of the Pirates order.
Maybe some repairs on the glove for Carlos Pena.
Hey, fans, stroll through the home of the Chicago Cubs and get an insider's look at more than 97 years of history in this legendary ballpark. Guided tours may include visits to the press box, clubhouses, and dugouts, as well as a chance to actually step on the field. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Tour sizes are limited and sell out fast, so get your tickets today.
Pitcher Brad Lincoln. Okay.
It's kind of a puzzler. And Hurdle still has actually 2 switch hitting catchers available, Ryan Doma and Jason Jaramillo. So Brandon Wood and Matt Diaz, a couple of righties off the bench, but going to be Brad Lincoln to take the at bat.
Here we go, and low for ball 1. Lincoln was a pretty good hitter in college. And you see why. Oh, what a pick by Starlin Castro. He got him. Well, now we see why Brad Lincoln was used as a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
At the University of Houston, and he hit that ball hard, but Castro got him on the short hop.
Nice play to the backhand side. Like every pitching staff has a guy or two that you would be willing to use in a pinch hit situation. Brad Lincoln hit it hard. Starlin Castro with a great play.
Lincoln, by the way, is 7 for 22 in his short major league career, so hitting over 300. As McHenry bounces out to Ramirez. And that was the first time Lincoln had ever been used as a pinch hitter. There's Derek Lee, as we mentioned, on the disabled list, but in uniform on the bench. Always great to see him back here at Wrigley Field.
It's not much of a stretch to say that Derek Lee has probably helped a lot of these younger Pirates coming into Wrigley Field, some for the first time, some maybe for the second or third time, but it's kind of alerting them to certain situations that may come up during the course of the game, maybe different areas of the ballpark that will play funny, keeping an eye on the flags, all those things that veteran players can impart to the youngsters, and ideally you kind of ease their adjustment.
Arnie plays a hopper and gets to Speedy Darno at first. 3 ground ball outs for some margin. Bottom 8, 3-1 Bucks. Jose Veras will work here in the bottom of the 8th.
Much batting average under 200 on the season. Harris has a good fastball in the mid-90s, a curveball, and a split finger.
Fastball. It was a knee buckler, and it's a strike.
It's kind of a hybrid breaking ball. It's not really a slider, but it's not really a curveball, kind of in between. It's been dubbed a slurve in the past. Started that one right at Castro, broke it across the inside corner.
Jumps into the Pirate dugout.
This is the one that buckled the knees of Starlin Castro. Came right back, just barely caught that inside corner.
Castro strikes out. That's a first out.
Sure, Veras always knows where that pitch is going, but that was textbook the way he used that breaking pitch to Starlin Castro. Showed him the first one on the inside corner, and then every other one on the outer part of the plate moving away.
Breaking ball in there against Reed Johnson, who had squared the bunt. Johnson, a strikeout victim. Harris has had really good stuff here. He has struck out Castro and Johnson, and now faces Aramis Ramirez. He wanted to face him with nobody on, and that's exactly what will happen.
A lot more breaking pitches than we're used to seeing from Veras. Normally he likes to use that fastball a lot, and he's got a good one, but apparently he's feeling that breaking pitch today and used it very effectively to the first two hitters in the inning here. It's a nearly unhittable strike. The knees at the bottom of the zone with some tailing action.
Yank foul. Swing there and fouled off to the right.
Yeah, finally got a good pitch to hit that time. Fastball that was up a little bit on the inner third of the plate, right where Rami likes it. Just fouled it off to the right side to stay alive. Our Corona Extra pitch tracks middle of the thighs, inside part of the plate. Good pitch to hit, just a little tardy.
His bat. Still 2-2. Veras setting up today for Joel Hanrahan, the All-Star.
Seen a lot of long pitch at bats today by both clubs. Ramirez will be taking a look at his 9th pitch of this sequence here when Veras gets ready to deliver.
He held up, but if he had swung at it, he might have had a shot to beat out the wild pitch. 3-2. Pena on deck. He supplied the only run for the Cubs.
If you only had a way to know how far that ball was going to get away from the catcher, that would have been my best offense. Swing at that strike 3 in the dirt and run like crazy. Dolls are very attentive, but they don't say much. Don't really contribute to the crowd noise as much as we would like.
Not sure if this is playable or not. It is, and Garrett Jones navigating around the bullpen area makes a catch to end the inning. The Cubs go down in order in the 8th. We'll head off to the 9th. 3-1 for the visitors. Cubs trail 3-1. Jeff Samardzija with a 1-2 3/8, and he'll pitch again here in the ninth. Nobody up in the bullpen. And a very busy guy in terms of innings out of the pen. And if he gets all 3 outs here in the ninth, he'll pass Johnny Venters of the Braves to lead all National League relievers in innings pitched. Right now it's 76 1/3.
Normally we say this would be a good guy to keep off base, but in the case of Alex Presley, we'll say it's a good guy to keep off of third base. 2 triples in the game today.
Andrew McCutchen, who was hit by a pitch today near the left hand, was seen by Cubs team physician Dr. Steven Adams. And so far, no evidence of a fracture has been seen. It appears to be a bone contusion, listed as day-to-day. Doubtful, though, for tomorrow and possibly on Sunday. We may not see him again in this series.
I mentioned earlier in the game that Presley had led 2 different minor leagues in triples, including his first year as a professional back in 2006 with Williamsport. He led the New York Penn League with his 8 triples in 61 ball games. And a few years later in 2009 in Lynchburg, the Carolina League had 11 triples to lead the league that year. Just for good measure, he went to school at the University of Mississippi, where at the time he left school, he held the school record for triples, of course.
And he draws the walk. And a leadoff walk at that. Harrison bunts toward first. Samardzija will flip to Barney covering. They just got him.
A dangerous toss that time by Samardzija, only because that sun is sinking to the west and shining through the third base side of the field. He almost tossed it a little bit too high for Darwin Barney there. You'd hate to see an underhanded toss get lost in the sun, but Darwin able to stay with it for the out at first base.
James Russell just grabbed a baseball. Hitters count here for a dangerous guy, Neil Walker. Now 3-0. Tabata on deck. There's ball 4. 2 walks in the inning.
I hope that was just a pitch around situation right there, because it looked like Jeff Samardzija really lost his arm angle and his release point on that at bat by Neil Walker. It wouldn't be surprising if they wanted to pitch around Walker in that situation to set up a potential double play. You just hope Samardzija can get back into that good groove again, find the strike zone. Showed you James Russell warming in the bullpen. Next scheduled hitter Garrett Jones, a left-handed batter. I'm sure this will be Samardzija's last guy if he does not get him, or maybe if he just gets one out on the play. We'll probably see Russell in the game to face Jones.
We like to say good meeting.
Good meeting.
Mark Riggins went out. Samardzija with a first pitch strike to Tabata. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth, Pena, Soriano, and a pinch hitter. Colvin is going to get to the spot, and the runners will retreat. That'll be it for Samardzija with Garrett Jones due up. It'll be left-hander James Russell, the Honda call to the pen. 3-1 Pirates in the ninth. lefty James Russell will not face Garrett Jones. Instead, it'll be switch hitting Ryan Domit, catcher slash first baseman. And he takes strike one. A little bit better lefty than righty in his career as he bounces to Barney. That'll take him right to second base, and that ends the inning. So last chance now for the Cubs against all-star closer Joel Hanrahan. They trail by a pair. And Brandon Wood will come in and play first and hit seventh. And Joel Hanrahan tries to notch his 33rd save. He works with a 2-run lead.
You see a lot of gasoline right here. Joel Hanrahan throws extremely hard. According to Fangraphs, his average fastball over 97 miles per hour this year, and he throws it about 83% of the time.
Carlos Pena swings away and fouls back. It's outside on a fastball. When in doubt, guess fastball.
Yep.
For Hanrahan.
He's got a real good slider in the mid to upper 80s to go along with that fastball, but until you force him to throw it, he's probably just going to challenge you with that heater.
2-1. Two now, 97, pretty consistent on the gun. A full count, a walk would do just fine. but he strikes him out. All fastballs in the at-bat.
And all from the middle of the plate away. Missed away badly with a few of them. Corona extra pitch tracks. He ultimately comes right back to that outside corner, down around the knees at 97 for strike 3 to Pena.
Also, according to Fangraphs, he has the 4th fastest average fastball among all big league relievers at 97.2. Henry Rodriguez of the Nationals at 98. Jordan Walden with the Angels at 97.6. Daniel Bard of the Red Sox 97.4. Cubs need a base runner to put the tying run at the plate here in the ninth. Swing and a miss, 2 down. It'll be up to Blake DeWitt.
Hanrahan with the requisite bad beard for closers. He's got the closer's fastball, no doubt about it. Just rushes that one right on past Soriano for strike 3.
One and one to the Cubs' top pinch hitter, Blake DeWitt. And a fly ball to left. This will do it. Tabata underneath, and the Pirates continue to play well here at Wrigley Field. They snap a 5-game losing streak by winning for the 5th time in 7 tries here at Wrigley this season. Well, we thought it might be a big offensive day during batting practice. When the wind was blowing out, it turned around, and Brian Burris gave up just 1 run in his 2011 big league debut, and he beats Ryan Dempster 3-1 the final. Time now for our GMC player of the game with an honorable mention to Burris, who got the win. We're going to go with the spark plug today for the Pirates. Alex Presley from the leadoff spot, Bob, reached 4 times.
Yeah, 2 triples, a single. He drew a walk, scored 2 runs. Really energized this Pirates offense. I mean, we've seen what Tony Campana does when he's in the lineup for the Cubs, and Alex Presley appears to be that guy for the Pirates.
That'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned for Coors Light post-game live. Once again, the final score, the Pirates 3, the Cubs 1. We're back with you here on Comcast Sportsnet Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. Game 2 of a 3-game series against Dusty Baker's Cincinnati Reds. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Bob, for Gail Fisher, and our entire crew here at Wrigley, this is Len Casper. We're going to send it over to Cap and Holly in our downtown CSN studios.